Hey Thunkers, in this video we're going to use saved variables to create a very simple note-taking app. So we're going to be able to type our note in the text box here, and when we click the save button it will be stored in the app memory. So that means when we close the app and open it up again, that note is saved and displayed for the next time that the app is opened. Okay, let's get started. So in our projects page, we're going to create a new app, and it's going to be called Note Taker. And we can create that again. Categories are optional. The UI for this is very simple. So we're going to add a label. Underneath the label, we're going to have a text input like that. Just drag and drop it in underneath, and then we can have a button underneath that. So we don't need to put any text on the label, don't need any text here, but we will change this to save so the user knows what the button does. In our blocks then, what we're going to do is when the save button, let's rename that, we'll call it save button. When the save button is clicked, we want to store the text from text input 1, and to do that we're going to use a stored variable. So it's very similar to creating a app variable. What we're going to do is create a stored variable, and it's going to be called stored note, like that. And you'll see that it doesn't get a default value. So let's have a look at what that looks like. We can use the event handler we learned about in video 1. And when the save note variable initializes, let's show that in label 1. Let's show the value of the save note in label 1. Let's test it out like this. So we see that when it loads, it shows us the word, or the value it gives us, is null. So null is actually a special value that lives here in our logic blocks. So we're going to use what we learned in video 2 with the conditional statements. We're going to check whether or not the save note is null. So if save note is null, then we're going to give the user like a little prompt, so such as type note to save, like that. And then what we're going to do is, if it's not null, if we've already shown them this little prompt, what we'll do is we'll set the label text to be the value that has been stored in saved note, like that. So at the moment we'll see the prompt, but the second bit won't work, so we have to add in a little bit more code. Type the note to save. So now we're not seeing null anymore, but if we type something and try and save it, the save button doesn't work yet, so let's add the code for that. When the save button is clicked, we are going to take the text from text input 1 like this, and we're going to store it, we're going to save it in our save note variable. So that's it there. So we'll try a test note like this, and it gets saved here. What we'll do then is we have to manually clear out. We can write in another note like this, and that gets saved there as well. And one last thing then that we're going to do is clear out text input 1 by putting in this empty string, or this empty piece of text like that. And so we can see now that it's working. It says that we have the another note, so we'll have a final note like this, and it clears it out. So we go, yay. Yeah, works. Perfect. Okay, and so that's a way of using stored variables to save information on your device. That means when the app is closed and opened again, it will load the value from the variable that's stored in your phone's memory. In the next video then, what we'll do is we'll learn how to take this note-taking app and share these notes with people on other devices.